to you all. My name is Musim Ezekiel, and I'm a facilitator at Girls for Tech and Innovation Africa. And I would like to welcome you all to this segment of our weekly Heroines Talk Show series, which is brought to you by Girls for Tech and Innovation Africa. Today's topic it's going to be about bridging the gap for women in STEAM in Africa. And our theme for today is going to be work care and environment, a healthy workplace environment, which is ideal when it comes to positive, when it comes to maintaining a positive outcome in a stressful atmosphere. So today we are honored to host a doctor, Dr. Christiana Suba, who is a lecturer who's a lecturer of physics. Um, I was a lecturer in the physics department, College of Science at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, Ghana. Uh, she handles various courses in both graduate and undergraduate classes, such as health physics, experimental physics, and biomedical laboratory. Her research interest in understanding the safety and pathophysiology associated with radiation diagnosis and um, and treatments is quite interesting. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Christiana.
Thank you, Ezekiel.
Uh, for our cherished online participants and viewers, you're welcome. You can share this link with your contacts and your fellow members. Feel free to comment, like, share on our Facebook platform and our YouTube. You can also ask your questions and we shall direct them directly to Dr. Christiana. Uh, Dr. Christiana, I think we can get into this. How are you feeling?
Oh, so good. And good to have you too.
Thank you, thank you. So let's go to our very first question. Tell us about yourself and your field of activity and what has inspired and motivated you to be what you are today.
Thank you very much, Ezekiel. In fact, as you said already, I'm Christiana Suba and a teacher. And I'm always happy to say I'm a teacher because I'm a professional teacher. After my senior secondary school, I went to teacher training college. So I was trained as a professional teacher and I taught for 5 good years before I proceeded for my first degree at the university. So at the university, because I wanted to serve in an establishment purely academic and research, I decided to proceed to the university to read physics. So I attained my first degree in applied physics, and I realized I'm not yet done. I'm supposed to continue to actually get myself in an establishment, as I said, purely academic and research. I continue for my second degree in medical physics, after which I proceeded for my third degree in health and radiation physics. And currently, as I said, I'm a teacher, and once a teacher, always a teacher. So I am teaching now at the university of one of the premier and the greatest university in Africa, which is Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi, Ghana. So I'm not a lecturer there. And as you said earlier on, I teach both graduates and then the postgraduates in nuclear health, in health physics, nuclear science and technology, biomedical lab, and so many. So basically, this is me. And you made mention what inspired me. In fact, each time I get this question, I remember my mom, my mother, who is, as I said, didn't have formal education. He is an illiterate. But my mom is my best friend who always inspired me, telling me, because my daughter, I didn't go to school, and you are my firstborn. We are 6, and I'm the firstborn and the first lady. And she's always ready to do whatever will help me get education and end it, not just to have a basic education and that is all. So he is really my number one inspirer. And in fact, the gratification of overcoming an obstacle is my greatest motivator. This is what I will say about myself. Thank you.
Well, we are glad and honored to have you in our presence right now, and I'm really excited to get to know more about what you do and what you're doing. So our second question: how best can we support our learners or influence them to do more in STEM activities as well as impact the environment positively?
Okay. STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, is actually a gateway to industrial and technological growth. So there is the need for at least several interventions to be initiated by governments and individuals, just as we are doing now. And before we say some of the things that we will do for, please, your question again? The question, I
Uh,
actually, good. Yes,
uh,
what we can best do to support our learners. In fact, some of the few challenges that discourage learners to do more in STEM is what we need to address. We need to address some of these challenges. And what are they? In fact, we'll first look at the inadequate science equipment. Inadequate science equipment. And, you know, when we have a lot of these science equipment in our disposal, it will help science become practical for the learners to have interest in it. If we're able to combat this challenge, at least it will go a long way in order for our learners to learn more in science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And also the availability of qualified science teachers. In fact, the few that we have, because they are not motivated, they feel like they shouldn't do more to help our learners to do more in science, in technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Because when you get to a place where there is inadequate science equipment and they are supposed to improvise, make time to improvise and make these learners to have interest in it, because they are not motivated. I think they just leave things the way they are. I can also talk about, you see, there's also the need to create this conducive learning environment for a section of early adolescent population who have a conception that STEM or the STEM is STEM subjects are for boys rather than girls. So if we have that conducive learning environment for our learners, at least we'll be able to shield this conception from our girls who always think STEM subjects are for boys. And I think in Ghana here, there is this transforming teaching, education, and learning, which is not-for-profit organization that provide technical advice, project management, research and implementation support services using these our local experts to advance Ghana's education system. In fact, so the TTEL is also trying to help learners to do more in science. So I think basically it's not for only the government, but we the individuals. Let's look at parents. As I said earlier in my introduction, my mother has been my inspirer for wherever I am. If you ask me how I got here, I cannot take this woman out, my mother, because he tells me, why do you think these are for only men and women cannot do it? Then it gives you that inspiration that you can also do it more. So we parents, educators, governments, we have a role to play in order to combat some of the challenges that is driving away our learners to do more in science. If we are able to do that, definitely we'll reach where we want to reach. Thank you.
Our third question: what is the importance of having more women in STEAM spaces or activities?
Oh, okay. Looking at STEM or STEAM jobs, at the moment, they are the fastest growing. They are the fastest growing. And the demand for them is increasing because we need STEM jobs to be able to tackle environmental and then other issues. So as a result, STEM jobs will not only be the most demanded, but also the highest paid. But then women remain underrepresented in STEM, despite the good employment opportunities and highly productive jobs in this area. So, however, more women in STEM activities will help to reduce the gender gap in STEM. And this will help reduce at least the skill gap. And if it reduces the skill gap, it will go a long way to increase employment and productivity of women and reduce this occupational segregation. In fact, ultimately, this will definitely foster economic growth. It will foster economic growth through both higher productivity and increased labor market activity. And globally, we will be able to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals 2030 agenda of the Agenda 4, 5, and 10 for the world to be a better place for all of us to live in. Thank you.
That's interesting. Let's move on. So, as a woman in the field of sciences and a lecturer, what is your strategy to encourage young African girls to love STEM-related courses?
Okay, the strategy. In fact, there are some beliefs. There are some beliefs that is making the young ladies not to do more in science. I think you can look at, they have this negative stereotype about the intelligence abilities. So they think once you're a girl, oh, you can't do STEM because STEM or STEM subjects are meant for boys. Then there's this also stereotype about people working in STEM careers, that they are unfashionable, they are boring, and if you go into STEM, you become unfashionable. Yes. In fact, with these beliefs, we need to try, and that's what mostly I used. I try to let them know these are beliefs that are not true. So you need to at least know that what your other men are doing with support and other help, you'll be able to also reach there. So one of my strategies is I've realized most of the girls have this fixed mindset because of the beliefs that I mentioned, because of the belief that I'm not intelligent. And then if you go into STEM courses, this is what I will become. So they already have that fixed mindset. So I try to teach a growth mindset in these young girls, that intelligence is not an innate, it's not an inborn. With perseverance and determination, you'll be able to make it. So the first strategy is I try to teach a growth mindset. Then I try to introduce them to successful women in STEM. In fact, for Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, Ghana here, we have a lot of successful women in STEM. We have Wisdom Ghana, that is women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, Ghana. And we have a lot of successful women that they know, they see them, and they interact with them. So with those available that I introduce them to, I take them to field trips and introduce them to some of the successful women also outside in their schools. And even some we've read about. In fact, and some of the strategies to we currently in the school that I find myself, we have a lot of senior lecturers, a lot of professors who try to show us how they did it and how they made it, and they are now at their level. So with that strategy, they always help me to update some of my strategies that I'm using on them to be able to do more in science. So like you are in as a lecturer, I'll be here, then my professor will come in, try to encourage me. Christy, what are you doing? Christy, try. And then with the advice they give, it motivates me to also extend at least what they are taking me through to these young ones, because we need more women in STEM career. So basically, my strategies are advice. I try to teach them a growth mindset, try to introduce them to some of the successful women in STEM, take them to field trip, and as I've been appointed currently as a mentor in Wisdom Ghana, and with this opportunity, I have a lot of strategies to gather these young girls to also do more in science. So that is what I can say for now. Yes.
Moving forward, our line of work and based on your research in physics, briefly explain to us what pathophysiology associated with radiation diagnosis is about.
Oh, okay. You know, in pathophysiology is just you look at the study of the function of the human body in the disease state. So in health radiation or in radiation physics, you know, patient goes to the hospital for a condition, and in the clinical setup, medical imaging procedures, most of the medical imaging procedures utilize radiation. And the main aim of medical imaging is to at least answer a clinical question or guide an intervention. So if a patient comes in with a condition, and mostly we deal with the oncologist. So he comes in with a condition and he's supposed to get some answers to some of the clinical questions. The patient will be asked to go for medical imaging. And because most of the medical imaging procedures use or utilize radiation, you don't have to worsen the patient's condition, because we know radiation is, especially the non-ionizing radiation, have some amount of energy to cause damage to the DNA cell or even cause cancer. And then the non-ionizing radiation can also have impacts or effects on a patient by heating. It can overheat. The patient can go through excessive heating during the imaging. So with my research, I normally, or the field that I carry out my research, basically we try to get medical image of a patient without causing harm or increasing the patient's condition. If I say increasing patient condition, we deal with machines. So we do acceptance and commissioning of the machine. We make sure the machine is working perfectly in order for the patient to go through medical imaging safely. Now, before the machine patient goes through the machine, you need to carry out quality control, quality assurance of the machine. Make sure the machine is working perfectly, and patient going through it is not overdose with radiation or underdose with radiation. And so most at times you need a test case using phantom. So which phantom? You need to come out, to design a phantom in order to carry out some of the medical imaging before the real patient is put on it, because the patient is it's not an animal, it's not an object. So you don't have to use the patient as the test case. So basically, the functions of the human body in the disease state must be maintained after the medical imaging to be able to, so that the patient can see the doctor or the oncologist for other intervention. So basically, if you ask me in my line of, my research area is to help patients who go to the hospital get medical imaging successfully and safe, in order not to be overdosed with radiation that can cause more harm to the patient than the state in which the patient went to the hospital, or to underdose, which may result not to get the actual image that is needed. So we carry out quality control, quality assurance, commissioning of machine and acceptance, and then so many, a lot of things is being done in order to protect, guide the patient from undergoing excessive exposure of radiation, both ionizing and non-ionizing. Thank you.
For sure, it does sound a lot of stuff. Anyway, so what barriers or challenges have you faced as an African woman in STEAM, and how have you overcome them?
Yes, challenges are numerous. I'll just mention some few ones. And as in my introduction, I said I am a teacher, and after going through my teacher training, college training, I actually wanted to serve in an establishment purely academic and research. So I needed to go to the university. And going to the university is not like going with your teacher certificate. I have to go back with my senior secondary school in those days, which is today's senior high school certificate. So I need to go and join my juniors at the university. But by then, it wasn't easy to take that challenge. And the pleasure of always overcoming such challenges, as I said, is my motivator. When I got to the classroom, at the university, first year, it wasn't easy because financially, I thought for a number of years, I thought probably I could have gone to school with, as in Ghana here, when you talk about professional teachers, we always think of, oh, after serving some number of years, I'll go to school with steady leave with pay, and I didn't get it. So it wasn't easy for me. But then I didn't also say because of financial challenges, I have to drop it. But by the time I completed my fourth year, I realized I was the only, in 2010, I was the only female professional graduate physics teacher. So that actually motivated me. And it was also a challenge. But after I've gone through and I was able to break through, the pleasure alone made me to continue. And it was a challenge for me because I have to go back to the classroom to teach whilst furthering my education, because it's not easy to go to school whilst working. But then it was a big challenge, and I was able to manage it. But after I finished my my second degree with teaching and furthering, it wasn't easy, as I said, but breaking through, that also gave me that zeal to continue with the third degree. And by God's grace, I was able to also go through. And that has made me whom I am today, having my third degree in STEM, in science, and I found myself as a teacher or as a lecturer in the university.
Okay. So what is the one thing you'd like people or your students to know about STEAM? students remember about you in regard to your career as a lecturer or teacher?
Yeah. In fact, for my students, I always use my life experience as an example to let them know that they need not to have a fixed mindset. They need to grow their mindset. And by growing your mindset, you'll be able to combat the beliefs that these ladies or some students have, and it always let them run away from STEM. So with my life experience that I share with them, making them know that STEM or science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics can be done by anybody, but then you need to work hard. You need to take your education serious. And the encouragement that I take them to, I think most of them, when I leave class, they'll follow me to my office and they try to change their mindset. Oh, we thought this thing is not possible. But with what Dr. Subai is saying, it means we can make it. Because if they listen to what I have gone through, going through from secondary school, I have to go and join my juniors to go to the university because what I want to study is physics, and it cannot be done through sandwich program. As by then, you need to be a regular student and carry out the program. Then I have to abandon my post-secondary certificate and go back to start, meaning you need to grow your mindset. And with mindset growth, there's nothing that you cannot do. So with these words of encouragement to my students, I know that is one thing they will always remember me for, always telling them my own life experience and how hard it was and I was able to go through. It's something that they will always remember because I am the life experience. I have experienced it and I'm telling them what I've gone through. And I didn't know I could have made it, but then with perseverance and hard work and dedication, I have been able to break through some challenges that I thought myself that I cannot make it, but I've been able to make it because when they see you as a physics madam, hey, that physics is difficult. Hey, physics, the moment you mention you teach physics, everybody is alarmed. Physics, hey, this course, it means they've already fixed their mind that the thing is difficult and it is meant for some people who are born to come and carry it out. And if I tell them, even at the beginning, at the secondary school, I was going to read Greek, but it was my headmistress who said, no, go to the general science class. Then my physics teacher by then will tell me, you are very good in physics, keep it up. Keep it up. So with this words encouragement, I didn't have in mind that I've been born to come and read physics and graduate in physics and teach physics. But because I was told you can do it, I was encouraged by a lot of people around, and some of the successful women we have in our jurisdiction were also our inspirers. We're able to get there. So these are some of the advice I give them for them to know it's not about you born as as a talent or as a someone intelligent that you can do the course.
Okay. I have a personal question. What about those parents who think that STEM is only about is a male-dominated course? What advice would you give the parents who do not take their children, their girls, into who always tell them to take the other courses apart from the STEM-related courses? What advice would you give to the parents?
Yeah, parents who think STEM is meant for only boys, but not girls. Is that not it?
Yeah.
Yes. So you see, parents, as I said earlier on, my mother is illiterate. She never went to school. According to her, she went to school just for only one day, and all what she saw was she was sent to a village to take care of the grandmother. So when I look at my mother, the way she behaves, if she had really told me that science is for boys or the same subjects are for boys, I think I would have also run away. I wouldn't have taken it serious because parents, in fact, we are the number one inspirer of our children. So if a parent is telling the world that STEM is for boys, it means that parent has already crucified the child from going to any of the STEM subjects. So parents must know that no child is born intelligent and that child is coming to do a particular program. No, no. We parents, educators, we need to guide these our children and let them know that once it is a form of education and others have made it, definitely our children too can do it. The girl child can do it. And we can do it with hard work, perseverance, and dedication. Because, when we talk about this gap, the gap in STEM jobs, and there are a lot of opportunities. So always think because you are a female and you have done little, we must push you there. There must be some consideration. So try and do a little. No, it's not trying to do as what our counterpart men are also doing. And it's possible we can do it. But we need to try to combat these beliefs, the beliefs that I mentioned, that we have that negative stereotypes of intelligence abilities, and this stereotype of the battery is going. And this stereotype of STEM workers, they are unfashionable. If you are there, you cannot do ABC. It's an issue. It's a very big problem. We need to try to combat all these things so that our children will have interest. Our children will have interest in STEM subjects. And you shouldn't say it is for only boys who can do it, because boys are more intelligent than girls. So parents, we need to try and assist this our girl child or our girls to take STEM subject serious, like they take other courses also serious. So this is what I would tell parents, to try to combat some of these beliefs in our own um, children, and let them know it can be done. It's not anything extraordinary, but it is just the normal thing that can be done.
Well, there you've had it from the doctor. If she can do it, then I think all the African girls can do it too. I want to thank you so much, Dr. Christiana, for your time. Thank you for being with us today. We are grateful for your time and the input you've made towards this conversation, and I hope the the girls out there, or the women and the parents are listening in, and it will help them shape and inspire them, the women, to do better in STEM. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah. Then to our viewers and participants on our YouTube and social media platforms, thank you for being part of us today. And that was it for this segment for the weekly Steam Heroines. We shall get to see you another time. Thank you. Stay safe and be blessed.